Hello, so I am going to be sharing a couple different materials that I've created for my learning module with you. The first is an organizer that the students have had access to since they first started the project. I did give the students the option to either complete this organizer digitally or they can complete it traditionally as a worksheet form so they can write if they choose to. So I was hoping to appeal to both learning styles for the students. But as you can see, it is a chart. And there are a few different questions that they need to answer to help them reach that objective of developing a solution to a global problem. So the first thing they had to do was select that problem, think about who it impacted, where it presents itself, why it's important, and then record 5 interesting facts. They then need to consider the consequences if things don't change and what they can do about this issue. I did tell the students that they could work in any order that they wanted, but it was scaffolded to begin with the selection of the global problem, and then as the students are conducting research, they can work towards answering those questions. I also did put some reminders for their research requirements on that sheet that they will be using throughout the course of the project. I check in on with them weekly to see their progress and point them in the right direction if they're lacking a reliable source or lacking something else. So the next material that I wanted to show you is a sample activity list that I have shared with the students. So I just put like a fun little meme on the side since it's close to Christmas with Elf. But as you can see with this activity list, they have a goal in mind and a few different options. So I decided to highlight some of the areas that I really want the students to focus on to draw their attention there. Typically I would put that information in red, but in researching different color variations that could impact the learning of those who are colorblind, I realized that's probably not the best option, so I did make that shift. The one requirement would be for the students to post a resource on Padlet, something that they could share with other groups who are working on similar topics. I did want to get my students thinking about infographics, so I asked them to start by taking a look at an infographic, which I'll open to show you. And this infographic, as you can see, is related to global poverty. Some students are researching this topic, some are not, but I thought it would just be a great way for us to have a conversation about what they notice, what they don't notice, to get them thinking about how they can use infographics in their research. And then I included specific links to each of the, I included links to the specific sources they can use. Newsela is one of the options. It's something in my curriculum that I need to use, so the students are required to read at least through Newsela articles and take those quizzes. I also want them to look at videos and learn how they can use videos as an academic and credible source. So I gave them a couple linked options where they could go to find some videos that might be helpful. There's a playlist on the Sustainable Development Goals. TED Ed is obviously a great source, and then Nat Geo as well. And then the third option would be to check out some podcasts or infographics. So I gave them a search tip to search for an infographic related to their topic using a keyword and the search term infographic. And then I really am interested in bringing podcasts into my classroom. I love to listen to podcasts personally, and I think there's a lot of information that can be gleaned from listening to podcasts. So I found 2 sources that I think would be really great for students in middle school. One is called Brains On, that has more science topics. The other is called Listen Wise, and I did include links to both of those sites. I put directions for the students to sign up for ListenWise, but I also would be running a small group mini lesson on how to use podcasts and showing them to how to use those sites. I'll probably create a screencast of that as well in case there's any absent students, or if students want to go back and watch the directions on their own. And then I just added a graphic on the side to kind of have some standout information that I want them to remember. Again, I have a help center in my room, so students can add their name there if they need help. It helps me prioritize my conferencing. So I wanted to remind them of that, and also I just wanted to remind them of that Newsela requirement, since that is something that all students will need to make sure that they do, and that was one of the first sources I introduced to them, so I really want to make sure that they're finishing with that. So that's just one example of 1 week's materials that I've used. Students do have the ability to go back and access this content again if needed, but I am also going to post a live document so you can go back and look at some of the links if you'd like. Thanks for watching.